Captain America Civil War is the latest Captain America film, but it really should have been the new Avengers film, but isn't for some reason. I know everyone watching this review is going to see this movie no matter what, or has already seen it, so let me just confirm what you already think. The movie is really good. The movie has its problems, but I think there's so many good things about it, and it just makes everyone so happy walking out. Like, it's nothing major. This is up there for me as one of the best Marvel movies. I think it's entertaining, funny, well acted, and for a stupid superhero movie, it was pretty well written. I was surprised how similar it was to Batman vs. Superman in terms of plot. When you compare a movie like this to a piece of shit like Batman vs. Superman, you see clearly how much thought and effort and time the people that made this film put into making this film. What makes this movie better than Batman vs. Superman? Well, number one, it has a plot that makes sense, and number two, it doesn't suck. And while we're comparing this film to other films, I just gotta say, I like this film much better than Age of Ultron, and while it has many of the same problems as Age of Ultron, it's a movie that the fans ultimately wanted and deserve. It's action-packed and fun, and it's gonna make the fans freak the fuck out and cry. And if this is a sign for things to come, I'm pretty excited, because again, this movie isn't perfect, but I can't deny how much fun this film was. If I were a kid, I'd fucking love this movie. I keep bringing up bad things about this movie, so let me get that shit out of the way. The problem with Age of Ultron is that it had a few too many characters. And this movie kind of has that same problem. It's not as bad as Age of Ultron, because Age of Ultron was just an incoherent mess of shit. But the two characters they really set up in this movie are Black Panther and Spider-Man. Ant-Man is in there a little as well, but he's just kind of thrown in the background, and he works totally fine in the movie. Unfortunately, because this movie has so much shit going on, they have to set up the Black Panther storyline pretty quick. But again, you do understand his motivation, and he's kind of a badass, so it didn't really bother me. I just wish that establishing this character felt more natural. Same thing with Spider-Man. When you look at Spider-Man on his own, he's the best version of Spider-Man to date, and they did a better job establishing his character and making me like him than two feature-length Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Good, got it, great, good.
Good, got it, great, good.
Good, got it, great, good.
It's everything Spider-Man should be. He's young, he's funny, he's charismatic. And best of all, they don't spend 20 minutes explaining his backstory again. Like, we fucking know the backstory. There's a great scene where Tony Stark asks Spider-Man how his technology works, and Spider-Man just kind of goes, don't worry about it. Because it doesn't matter. We know. So Spider-Man on his own is great, and I can't wait for a Spider-Man solo movie. But if we're going to look at this as a film, Spider-Man doesn't really fit. He's great in it, but he doesn't belong in this movie. Iron Man shows up to his apartment out of nowhere and is like, I know you're Spider-Man. How he knows he's Spider-Man doesn't really matter, but why would Tony Stark go all the way to Queens to get this random kid to help him out, even though this kid has no experience and could probably get killed? It just seems irresponsible and out of character, and it doesn't really make sense. And that's what makes the tone kind of inconsistent in that scene. The big fight scene between all the heroes and all the villains. Which is great, by the way, but once again, it doesn't really fit. I thought most of this movie up until that fight was just fantastic. I thought the pacing was great, all of the characters really fit and were given something to do, even Black Panther, who was kind of rushed. I was really enjoying the dynamic between the characters, I was enjoying the dialogue, I was enjoying the action, which is fantastic, by the way. And for a long time, I thought this might be the best Marvel movie, but then it gets to that point where the fight starts, and that's when the movie has a different tone. It's not the fight itself that's slow. It's everything after that fight. Because the movie builds up to this, like, orgasmic, exciting sequence. And then the movie keeps going for another 30 minutes. And you're like, oh. Once we get to the last action scene and we get to the villain's motivation, the movie starts to pick up again. I'm gonna give this movie an 8 out of 10, even with all the problems it has. Some of you are going to call me a hypocrite because I gave Age of Ultron a really bad review for being a mess. And now I'm saying this movie's a mess. But don't misinterpret what I'm saying. The fact that Age of Ultron was a mess takes away from the entertainment of the film. Whereas in this movie, it's a little bit of a mess toward the end. but it doesn't take away from the characters or the fun. I think if Marvel calmed down on trying to set up 10 other movies and just had this one movie with one story, it might have been a 9 out of 10. But that being said, I think this is a perfect summer movie. I was very entertained watching it. The audience was very entertained watching it. I really can't picture anyone watching this movie and not finding something to like in it.